Hi everyone, so welcome to sort of my quick recap video, full build. It's going to be a little quick sort of snippets of some of the highlights of the build. This is the 172 Space 1999 Eagle transporter. Eagle 1, I made it. So I've been working on getting the cockpit set on my Eagle. And so I have the cockpit in there and my seats all attached. And obviously pilots in there as well, and it's looking really great. Can I just zoom in here a little bit so you can see them in there? So I'm always sure that is Ellen there, and that is Commander Koenig. So it's kind of dark. You can kind of see it. It's kind of, you know, the little yellow helmets there, but obviously have my light attached there, and the little switch that I've got hooked up that'll be on the underside of the Eagle, and when you turn that on, you can really see in there, and it just looks great. I just really love the looks of that. Very authentic, and gives it a nice, really nice depth. Obviously, you can see add a cockpit. So the default build for this one does not come with that. Yeah, I did have to do some work here, basically cutting out the windows. I've just got out the Dremel and have just been working my way kind of just patiently, again on the low, just kind of working that opening and getting it as close to the edges as I can. I'm going to ultimately, I probably won't be able to get exactly down into every purpose. You could actually see there when I actually put that on there that I'm really good actually on these two sides. In fact, that bottom one I might have actually gone maybe a little too low, but no problem. I mean, it's that's why this will, as long as there's enough for that to contact on, it's going to look good there. I do definitely need to take more though on top. You can see where I'm still seeing the plastic there. So that's that part is not quite there yet. But bottom looks really good. The bottom and this edge are both looking really good. So what I'll probably end up doing here now is getting out what I just did here, getting out the X-Acto and kind of cleaning that edge up, and then expanding it with the X-Acto probably, and just slowly working it out and getting it that way. So I'll do both these sides. Ultimately, that's to make room for our awesome little backdrop there, so that when we get this put on here, ultimately we'll be able to have a look in that window like that and see our little crew in there, getting out, sort of get out the Dremel and adding in the elements of that cockpit. I did use to do that the photo etch set from Paragraphics, which is just fantastic, and as I'll show you, that does include a bunch of the mostly, actually a lot of this is the cockpit pieces to be able to build that out. Really love that, and really good kit. So, and that of course, on top of that, I did as well add in just a single LED illumination there, just a yellow, warm yellow LED. Hey everyone, so just been working on my cockpit here. As I said, I did get the lighting in to just give a little bit of lighting, because I do have the Paragraphics cockpit pieces here. So I have the back sort of wall of the cockpit, as well as the little chairs there, and then, as you know, I did order in the little pilots there. That is my little Ellen and Commander Koenig here. So so I've got that all prepped, and I just installed the light that's gonna spinner there. It's just a simple, just a single LED. I've got it just cold glued that into place there, and then just passing it out through. I just cut a little hole there so that this piece will just be able to sit down flush from Evan Designs, and with that just had a little just a switch underneath here that's been it's really heavily epoxy. Just in the midst of applying the epoxy on my switch here, and just kind of watching to make sure that it's not leaked through, which it has not. And you can see that I kind of made a bit of a puddle there, and it's just holding that, and we'll essentially kind of bond it to the model frame. So just next day here, all my various epoxies have really set up really well, so you can see the main one that's got our little switch there is completely encased and obviously pretty rock solid, and so that's kind of works out really well. So you can see the little cockpit. I've got it sort of taped up right now, but you can see basically just being able to push the button. Really nice. So I can just easily be able to turn that on and off just with the switch there, which is just great. And the battery is inside the crew compartment, so that's one big addition that I did there. This is removable. Hi guys, so just a little update. I have been busy drilling some holes and getting the battery mounted here in the crew module. So I ended up, in terms of wanting to attach this to the module, I ended up just drilling a hole in the housing. I'm lucky in that the mounting that I've got for the 9-volt actually has a little back area. So I just drilled a little 5/16 hole there, and that's perfectly just holding that really nice and like completely solid. I don't need to even, it's not even glued. The cap here is just attached with actually magnets, and so I can easily just kind of pop that off, and the wiring just kind of drops down and then can replace the battery. Hey everyone, so have finished essentially all of the magnet epoxy work on the crew module, and I think it worked great. So it is definitely firm. You definitely have to work at getting it apart, but you can see that just does pull apart there, which is what we really want. So you can see lots of decal work here. So we're just gonna apply the decals here. I thought I'd kind of go through the little bit of the process here. So just shake my fluids. I've been using the Vallejo Decal Fix and Decal Solution, as you know, and then Fix. I just put a couple drops in. It's pretty thick, the Fix, and so we'll kind of make sure there's lots of water on our brush when we're using it, and then I just a couple drops of the softener. And we're pretty much set there. So then we'll start on the first one. So these are all decals are going to kind of come down on this inside edge here. So I'm just going to lay it down like that and just get this guy in the water here. Alright, so that's been 30. So then I just get a couple of water as well, just to make sure it's nice and wetted down here, so we know again that that's coming in right over top of this little area, and it kind of comes in at the top part of this. As I say, I've got this sealed now, so I don't have to worry about it coming off. So that's one nice thing. And then I usually just get a little bit more. I don't know if you can see that or not. Actually, just remove that solution, and then I can just move this guy off and position him there. And normally I just kind of position with this, it kind of comes up like that. I just want to match it against, yeah, it's about that distance. So that's actually pretty much, I think, pretty much perfect. As I say, they are on the high side compared to the, well, the fronts are kind of more in the middle, but these guys definitely are high up on that back side. So I think that's pretty much got it perfect. And so then normally I'll just kind of rinse that off, that one, and then I will just dry it. I keep a little paper towel nearby to just dry, and then I'll just go into my, just grab a little bit of the softener, and first I'll grab my little Q-tip here, and I'll typically just kind of run that over a little bit, kind of dry it out, get some of the fluid off of there, and so then it's essentially ready. I just make sure it's, yeah, it looks straight. It's just how I want it, because now's the time. If it's not kind of set up properly, now is the best time to be doing that, but I'm very happy with it, so I'm just going to put on my softener right away, and this is just first coat. Try to keep it roughly, you know, kind of in that, localized in the area that we're working on. And then use a second water to rinse that one of the softener. So again, I'm not sure you're seeing that or not, but I have a couple of waters here. I did really try to reference as many photos as I could to make it as kind of accurate as I could, within reason. I mean, it's not exact, but it's got a lot of things that are pretty close, and a lot of that entailed these little bands that you see all over a lot of the longer sort of girders and struts here, and there was a lot of them, and I did end up using sort of a custom decal set that I made, and that just worked pretty well for me, rather than trying to paint them. So, quick update on decaling. Just lots and lots of decaling going on. Did complete the sort of ring that goes around the cockpit module. And so you can see that I think that worked really well. So the really fine bands of gray, bigger ones, and then the orange pieces there, all looking great. And as I say, nice, consistent. Actually, let me just zoom up there. A little hard to see there. That, you know, would have been really difficult to get that kind of consistency in the lines that I was able to achieve using the decals. Same with, I've just got started here on this guy. You can see the really fine, the black, almost, these are really, really fine lines that are on there. In addition to the gray, there's quite a few little really thin, that's these guys. Let me zoom out here. These ones over here. That's how thin the black ones are doing, but worked great. Painting, actually, these red ones up here actually are painted. Right, so just gonna remove this here. Good. That looks just great. But everything else, I realized very quickly that to get the sizes all identical for these various bands was going to be near impossible. Lots of the additional decals to kind of just match what I could see in terms of certainly the shoulder pods, the different decals, and as well a lot of paneling and weathering effects, actually, which especially on the bottom of these pods, again, which is true to the actual pods there. I did add straighter as I go across, something like that actually looks about right. And then in fact it actually comes up like this as well. So we'll just try and capture that too. This one, something like that. Yeah, so that's pretty much what it looks like there. on the edges, it actually does kind of fade out ever so slightly, I see, so they don't quite come right against the edge perfectly like that. So I'm just going to take a little bit out on each edge. And then in addition, I noticed there is actually just a little bit of line across all of them, ever so slight. I mean, you can barely notice that just coming in just along the very kind of bottom edge here. So I'm going to see if I can kind of duplicate that ever so subtly here. Again, not dark at all. This is barely perceptible. Yeah, just like that. So it is literally barely perceptible. But I know it's there. And then there's another one kind of right down the middle of this guy. I'm going to try and capture that here. This one's a little trickier because I try to find the middle of that circle, which is not the easiest thing, but I think I got that pretty good. And then one of the things, I did get the gray in the middle of that circle, but there's actually a little bit of weathering on the other side there. So what I'm going to actually do there is actually just use a little bit of my just a little bit of pastel. So I have, if you recall, I did a little bit of pastel work already, just for the moon dust on the underside of the hallway modules, just to kind of go along here so I don't get any on this side of the line. Something like that. And I am actually going to go on the top and the bottom. So let's just take that off. And yeah, that's kind of perfect. On the crew module has kind of accurate panels, and as well, there's actually quite a bit underneath here. You just can't really see it until this is dropped off. The actual unit itself, you can see, does come off with the screws. That's true of the actual production model as well. I did paint my screws there, just used some metal primer and painted them the same base color. The base color here is my version of the Ford Diamond White. Hey guys, so actually, just off screen, I ended up adding one more drop of the XF21 green. So I've ended up with that color, and I don't know how well you can see it, but in the bright light, you can definitely see it's got I think the exact right color. When I look at the sort of web version of that color, it's just that hint of green, and with that little bit of silver in there, gives it just the right look. And that's against that's just white untouched. So you can kind of compare the two, and yeah, so that's my base. 10 mil white, 2 drops of XF21, and 1 drop of XF16. That's for sure the color that's used. There's pictures of them using the spray cans and that kind of thing. The blacks that you see here a lot are really just to me as flat black. I forgot to mention one of the other things I did on this particular version of the model. I did mention that I used in all my black sections here, including in the side little thrust maneuvering engines, and the black above the crew modules, and then the black on the cockpit section. Those there are actually decals that come with the model where you could just use decaling there. I didn't do that. I did lay down, as I say, Tamiya's the sort of XF1 flat black, and then used the Aztek Dummy Eagle 1 AD63 set of vinyl cutouts to essentially mask off all of these areas, and then was able to paint with the base colors over top of that, and then at the very end pull off these masks to give me the nice black painted section. Do this kind of carefully. All right, so first one great. I'm going to kind of preserve those in case for any reason I did want to go back. So that turned out lovely. That looks really pretty good, I think. And that one turned out really great too. So yeah, so the first two look excellent. Just exactly what we want in that black as well. And although some of the blacks are not, so some where the soot is in the engine bells, both in the main engines and in all the smaller engines here, that's actually just using the black Badger primer actually that I have great success with for that kind of thing. And the gray as well actually is the Badger gray primer. I really like these paints, and they work really well. They give kind of just that a little bit of a sort of a rough look that I really like and thought really worked well on the model. Yeah, so overall, just really great. It's a very modular project. I actually ended up kind of building it in a lot of different pieces. The pods, the sort of engine cluster, each of the hallway modules, the cockpit module, and then the crew module. And then you're just kind of building all those different pieces and doing all the different work on them and the weathering and just paneling, painting. And then at the very end, you kind of just put it all together, and it's and suddenly you have yourself a Eagle transporter. And I think it's just a lot of fun. I certainly enjoy taking some pictures with it as well. As you'll see, I did actually get out some concrete mix and made my own little lunar landscape there as well to just really have some fun and recreate some scenes. I guess just outside Moonbase Alpha, probably over one of the hills there, and really enjoyable, fun, and so pleased to add this to my model collection. I hope you'll check out the detailed videos if you want, and if you enjoyed this video and the results, please leave some comments and like and even subscribe if you want to see as videos come out. You'll be notified if you do that. Anyway, thanks so much.